Friends, I am glad to see all of you today and to spend a few minutes in bringing out some Dhamma for us to contemplate. I think you all have heard Venerable Rahulovada, the Buddha's, or not Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama's son, before he became enlightened. There are two discourses delivered to, especially two discourses, among others, delivered to Venerable Rahulovada. You know, Rahulovada became a monk when he was 7 years old. He had two teachers. One was the Buddha, other was Venerable Sariputta. When Rahulovada was ordained, he was a very obedient young monk. He always expected elderly monks giving him some advices. He's a very well disciplined little monk. It is said that when he was little, every day he took a handful of sand and threw in the air, saying, "Let me receive as many advices today as the grain of this sand." So much sand he threw in the air and wished to receive advices. So many advices each day. He was never got tired receiving advices. He was ready to discipline himself. Not he was a naughty boy, but as humble as he was, he wanted to receive more advices. It is said that one day a large number of monks came to see the Buddha, and they didn't have enough room. One monk went to Rahulovada's room and threw him out of his room and took that room, took his bed. This little Rahulovada went to Buddha's toilet and slept there. Next morning, Buddha came and cleared, since the door was closed, Buddha cleared his throat, and he heard another throat clearing from inside. Then Buddha asked, "Who is there?" Rahulovada said, "It is me." Venerable said, "What are you doing in my bed, in my toilet?" Then he said, "Sir, I didn't have place to sleep. So last night I slept in the toilet." And the Buddha said, "Okay, come little boy, go to my room and sleep." He was the only one who had this privilege in sleeping Buddha's own kuti, Gandha kuti. Not because he was his son, but this little novice didn't have good sleep that night. How can he sleep in the toilet with all these smells? Buddha was so compassionate and gave his own room, his own kuti to sleep. Now this was not what I wanted to say today, but in order to give you a little background of Venerable Rahula's life, there are many more beautiful things in his life. One day, there are two discourses. One is called Maha Rahulovada Sutta, another is called Cula Rahulovada Sutta. Both of these discourses are very profound. Not too many people pay much attention to these discourses. And each time you read these discourses, of course when you read them first like reading a novel or newspaper and tomorrow you never hear anything. Read second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, sixth time, many times. Each time you read, you learn something new. I tell you from my own experience. I read these sutras many times. The first is called Maha Rahulovada Sutta. That sutta began with very simple instructions of the Buddha. One day Buddha was going on his arms round, then little Rahula was following him. Then Buddha turned round and saw him following him and said, Rahula, this body form past, present, future, or internal or external, gross or near, gross or subtle, far or near, gross or subtle, far or near, internal or external, all this form, rupa, body, is not, you must think that this is not mine, this am I not, this I am not, this is not myself. Just out of blue, Buddha simply told him, out of the blue, he simply told him, Rahula, this body, whether it is past, present or future, internal or external, gross or subtle, far or near, is not mine. Think, you must think this body is not mine. This I am not, this is not myself. Then little Rahul asked the Buddha, is only the form veritable, sir? Is that all? Then Buddha said, not only that. Feeling, perceptions, volitional formations, and consciousness. Whether each of them, whether the past, present, future, internal or external, gross or subtle, far or near, are not mine, not I am not them, nor are they myself. Then Venerable Rahula thought, why should I go on alms round? Why not I take this subject and meditate? He went into a forest and sat under a tree and he was meditating. Then came his second teacher. Who's the second teacher? Venerable Sariputta. Perhaps Sariputta did not know what Buddha has taught Rahula. So Sariputta, seeing him sitting under a tree, said to him, Rahula, so he has a right to tell him because he is his teacher. And he did not know what the first teacher taught him. He being his own teacher, he said, Rahula, meditate on practice mindfulness of breathing. Now Buddha gave him one subject to meditate, then the Sariputta gave him another subject to meditate, of meditation. Then he meditated on whatever the Buddha said, whatever the Sariputta asked him to meditate on. Then in the evening, he went to see the Buddha and said, Venerable Sir, how to meditate on breathing, how to use the breath, how to practice mindfulness of breathing. Buddha did not ask Rahula, I asked you to meditate on the body, feeling, perception, thought and consciousness. Now you are asking me how to practice mindfulness of breathing. Buddha did not ask that. I mean, this is the character of greatest teachers. He simply wanted to answer his question. He simply said, Rahula, meditate on the form, rupa, whether it is internal or external. What is internal rupa, internal form, this is getting into deeper subject, deeper practice, and very, very detailed explanation. I am trying to make it as simple and short as possible. So the Buddha said, whatever internally, there is something hard, solid, and that is internal form. What are they? Yes, form element or earth element. First he talked about the form, now he started talking about elements. Patavi dhatu, because the form is made up of earth element, one of the elements. Then he started talking about elements. He said, head hair, body hair, nail, teeth, skin, and so forth. He gave the list of 32 parts of the body. I think most of you know the 32 parts of the body. So he gave this list of 32 parts and asked him, meditate on these parts of the body, whether they are internal or external. They have the same characteristics. Internal parts are no more different from external earth elements. Similarly, water elements, whether they are internal or external, they have the same characteristics. Fire elements, air elements, and he added space element. Fire elements, internal fire elements is the same as external fire, external heat. Internal heat is the same as external heat. Internal air is the same as external air. Internal space is the same as external space. They are not mine, Nathan Mama. None of them is I, or they are, I am not them, and they are not myself, they are not, I am not them, and they are not myself. Now, let us pause a little bit at this point and try to see, is it true or not? We take one of them, earth element. What is earth element? Element you cannot see. Earth element we cannot see. But we can know earth element through its characteristics. What are the characteristics of earth element? Characteristics of earth element is it is hard, solid, occupies space. That is the characteristic of earth element. Through these characteristics we know that there is something called solid. And although it is solid, it is not mine. You all can think about it. Can it be mine? Can it be yours? If it is yours or if it is mine, I or you should be able to do whatever you or I like to do with the element. Can we do anything with that? Hardness, solidity, occupied space are the characteristics of earth element. But this so-called hard, solid element that can occupy space is changing all the time. People even don't like to hear the word changing, let alone understanding it. When we mindfully pay attention to it, earth element, all we notice is constant, continuous, invariable, repetitive change. For instance, every tiny little cell in our body is made up of elements. One of them is earth element. Other is air element, water element, fire element, space element. These are the elements that make our cells in our body. No matter how much physics, chemistry, biology you study, you have to study these elements. And these elements, these cells are made of these elements, made up of these elements. And these cells are continuously, consistently changing, duplicating, and changing. All you have to do is to take a powerful microscopic lens and look at the body. All you can see is continuous change. You cannot see anything else. Changing, and duplicating. One set of cells change and then fade away, disappear, another set appears, and that change and disappears and so forth. It keeps duplicating. is making copies in order to keep the body survive, is making copies and copies and copies, copy from the copy, and copy from the copy, copy from the copy. And then, every time this cells copy, every new cells lose something from the original. Something original is lost every new cell. And eventually these cells cannot multiply anymore, then we will die. That is a very natural process. It happens to all of us. And this process is called aging, growing old. This happens automatically. All we do is replacing them by food, drinks, breathing oxygen, and nourishing this cell. And that we keep doing all the time. And that is exactly what is happening to any external body. Whatever is happening to external body is happening to this internal body. And therefore Buddha said, this is not mine. This is not yours. There is no owner. Although we call this is my body, if it is my body, how can I lose my eyesight? If it is mine, how can I lose my strength? If it is mine, how can I have wrinkles, which I don't like? If it is mine, how can my hair turn grey? If it is mine, how can I lose my teeth? I have no control. So Buddha said in short to Rahulovada, meditate on this element and understand that they are not yours, you are not them, they are not yourself. And he said, Rahulovada, meditate like earth. Not only meditate on earth element, but meditate on like earth. How to meditate like earth? When we stand on earth, we run on earth, we dig the earth, we do all sorts of things to earth, we spit on earth, we urinate on earth, we wash things and put all dirt on earth, we pollute earth. Earth does not do anything. Earth tolerates. Earth tolerates all our abuses. Earth tolerates. Earth does not retaliate. Earth does not turn back and beat us. Earth just let us do whatever we do to earth. Buddha says, similarly, meditate as firm as earth. When you meditate like earth, even if somebody abuses you, you don't retaliate. If somebody insults you, you don't retaliate. If somebody beats you, you do not beat back. Only that is not the way people behave. That is not, that behavior is not the meditator's behavior. Normally people, if somebody beats you, you beat back. But Buddha said, when you meditate meditate like earth. When you meditate like earth, whatever hate arises in your mind, hate will fade away, because you do not react to hate. When greed arises in your mind, you remain firm and do not let greed possess your mind. When hatred arises in your mind, when somebody hates you, you do not hate that person back, because you meditate very firmly, steadily, thinking, I will not let the mind generate anger, hatred. That is not a very easy thing to do. But that is what a meditator should do. And Buddha said, meditate like water. How you meditate like water? We use water to wash dirty things. We spit in water, we urinate in water, we put all kinds of chemicals into water, we train factories all chemicals into water. Water never retaliates. Water simply let us abuse water. It simply continues to flow. That's its duty, its duty, continues to flow. Similarly, Buddha said, let your mind flow with your mindfulness, no matter what happens to you. Don't try to be unmindful. Remain mindful. And whatever comes to hurt you, whatever obstruction comes to you, just don't retaliate, don't be disturbed. You just continue to be mindful of that disturbance. Don't get upset. He said, meditate like fire. Fire simply goes on burning. Fire's work is, job is, duty is, function is to burn. Meditate like fire. Whatever defilement arises in your mind, burn it. Burn it. If anger is going to arise, burn the anger. When greed arises in mind, burn the greed. Don't let it grow. Meditate like fire. Said meditate like air. Air's function is just to blow. Dust or smell or smoke, whatever arises, whatever we put into the air, it simply blows. Doesn't keep it in one place. Similarly, whenever any defilement arises in the mind, blow it out, throw it away. Don't keep it in the mind. Meditate like air. What does the space do? The space allows things to use the space. Similarly, meditate like air, meditate like space. Let all wholesome things enter the mind. Keep the mind open for wholesome things. And he said, Rahulovada, meditate on metta, practice metta, living friendliness. Send loving friendliness to all 6 directions. It is directional meditation, that will liberate the mind from various psychic irritants, especially like anger, hatred, will completely be vanished from our mind when we practice metta, loving friendliness. Send loving friendliness towards all directions, 6 directions. We call 10 directions. East, southeast, south, southwest, west, northwest, north and northeast, up and down. 6 directions. When we send metta to seek any direction, you simply send metta without thinking of persons, individuals, knowing that in the direction you are sending metta there are living beings. Suppose you send metta to eastern direction, you close your eyes. Even if you open your eyes, how many beings you can see? Very few beings you can see. But there are countless beings that exist in that direction. Humans, animals, birds, insects, reptiles, fish, divine beings, and so forth and so on in that direction. If you turn your mind to another direction, in that direction also there are countless beings. How can we see them? We cannot see them. How can we distinguish one from the other? We cannot. Because there are so many beings. Then therefore, just think that there are beings in this direction. Let all these beings be well, happy and peaceful. Turn your mind to another direction and think, let all beings in that direction be happy, peaceful. And so forth, send metta to all directions. Buddha said to us, Rahulovada. Similarly, he said, Rahulovada, practice compassion, karuna, practice appreciative joy, mudita, practice equanimity. And then finally Buddha said to Rahulovada, practice mindfulness of breathing. That's what Sariputta asked him to practice. Now Buddha came to that at the end. That's a special discourse, very profound discourse, and the entire discourse is the practice of meditation, mindfulness of breathing. So Venerable Rahulovada practiced this meditation, and this is the summary of first discourse called Maha Rahulovada Sutta. I said there are 2 suttas. I bring both suttas together to show the connection between these 2 suttas. These are 2 different places in Majjhima Nikaya. One at the beginning, other at the very end. The last one is called Cula Rahulovada Sutta. A small discourse on Rahulovada. Shorter discourse given to Venerable Rahulovada. That discourse, also very simple, it gave Venerable Rahulovada the chance to attain full enlightenment. So one day Buddha said, Rahulovada, let us go to take your sitting cloth and let us go to Bhavana, the forest of the blind. That is of course in literal translation, but in Pali it's called Bhavana. Let us go there. So Rahulovada took this sitting cloth and went to Bhavana, and Buddha put his and Ravana put the Buddha's sitting clothes for the Buddha to sit down. When the Buddha sat down, he paid respect to the Buddha and he spread his own sitting cloth next to him and sat down. Then Buddha said to Ravana, Ravana, eyes are impermanent. Chakku anicca. Then Buddha asked, is eye permanent or impermanent? Ravana said impermanent. That which is impermanent, satisfactory or unsatisfactory? Answer was unsatisfactory by the person. That which is unsatisfactory, is it desirable to consider that it has self? He said, no, 100%. It is not self. Then he asked, are ears permanent or impermanent? Impermanent. No. He said, when eyes, he asked us, are the eyes permanent or impermanent? He said, impermanent. Are they satisfactory or unsatisfactory? He said, unsatisfactory. Is it desirable to consider that which is impermanent, unsatisfactory as myself? He said, no, Venerable Sir. He asked, similarly, are the forms permanent or impermanent? Forms means that which you see with the eyes, visual objects. Are they permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, Venerable Sir. That which is impermanent, satisfactory or unsatisfactory? Unsatisfactory, Venerable Sir. That which is impermanent, unsatisfactory, is it wise to consider that it is myself? No, Venerable Sir. Similarly, ear, sound, nose, smell, tongue, taste, the body, touch, the mind and mental objects. Buddha, are these permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, Venerable Sir. That which is impermanent, satisfactory or unsatisfactory? Unsatisfactory, Venerable Sir. That which is impermanent, unsatisfactory, has self or not? Is it desirable to think that it is self? He said, no, Venerable Sir. In Pali, Chakku, Rahula, Nityam va Anityam va Anityam Bhante. Yampada Nityam Dukkham Vata Sukham Vati. Dukkham Bhante. Yampada Nityam Dukkham Dukkham Vipirinam Dhammam Kallanita Samampasatu. Etam Mama Eso Hamasmi Eso Me Atta. No Etam Bhante. Is it right to think that this is mine, this is myself, and this am I? Is it right to say that? He said no. When he was explaining these 5 things, Venerable Ravana was paying total attention. Then Buddha asked Ravana, is I consciousness permanent or impermanent? Then he first asked I, visual objects, and then he asked, is the consciousness that arises through the eye permanent or impermanent? Chakku Vijnanam Rahula Nityam va Nityam va? No hint of mind. Consciousness that arises through the eye is not permanent. Similarly, ear and consciousness arising through the ear is permanent or impermanent? Impermanent. Then nose consciousness permanent or impermanent? Impermanent in the person. Tongue consciousness arises, is permanent or impermanent? Impermanent in the person. Consciousness arising through the body is permanent or impermanent? Impermanent in the person. Consciousness arising through the mind itself is permanent or impermanent? Impermanent in the person. Now, then we ask, how about the contact? Eye contact, permanent or impermanent? Impermanent. Ear contact, nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, and mind contact. Permanent or impermanent? For each is said impermanent. Okay. Then, how about the feeling that arising through the eye contact, ear contact, nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, and mind contact? Feeling arises from this, through these contacts. Yes. Are they permanent or impermanent? Impermanent in the person. That which is impermanent, subject to change, alteration, satisfactory or unsatisfactory? Unsatisfactory in the person. Then is it correct to think this is mine, this I am, this is myself? He said, no way in the person. As he was explaining all this here, 30 places, 30 points he pointed out, such as eye, object, visual object, eye consciousness, eye contact, and the feeling arising from contact. 5. And the mind contact, 6. So, through these 6 senses, there arise consciousness, there are objects, consciousness, contact, and feelings. All these are Buddha went one by one through all of them and asked Venerable Rahula, are they permanent or impermanent? He said impermanent. That which is impermanent, satisfactory or unsatisfactory? Unsatisfactory. And therefore, is it proper to think that this is mine, this I am, this is myself? To each question he said, no, Venerable Sir. While he was explaining, Venerable Rahula's mind was so totally focused on this discourse. When he explained each and every step, his mind was so totally focused on the discourse that at the end of this discourse, Venerable Rahula attained full enlightenment. That is the time Rahula attained enlightenment. In the first discourse, Venerable Sariputta and the Buddha prepared Venerable Rahula's mind. They both prepared his mind. Then finally, Buddha took him to Bhavana and made him sit in front of him and see This is one-to-one instruction. He did not put Rahula in a large group of monks. He took him separately and made him, he also took him separately to a forest where nobody disturbed him, only father and son. So this was the gift that the Buddha gave to his son. When Rahula's mother, Yasodhara, sent Rahula to the Buddha, asking Rahula to ask the Buddha to give his inheritance. Buddha thought, let me give him an inheritance that could liberate him from suffering. All other inheritance will be simply mundane, satisfying your physical needs, and they are all impermanent. And you will not be liberated from this repetitive birth and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief and despair. So Buddha wanted to give him supreme gift, supreme heritage. So that is what he did, and whenever Rahula came, full enlightenment. So friends, I put two discourses together. As I mentioned at the beginning, each of them is full of Dhamma, very rich Dhamma. Therefore, I advise you all, if possible, to read these two discourses and read them very slowly, mindfully, and try to put the instruction given in these two discourses into practice. And you will see how beneficial it is. This is my birthday gift to you.